I ask you to support me in requesting His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, to address the nation. Your Excellency, sir.
Pray, be seated. Our two directors of ceremonies. The First Lady, Excellency Mnangagwa. Honorable Vice President and Minister of Health and Child Care, General Retired Dr. C.G.D.N. Chiwenga. Vice President and Second Secretary of ZANU-PF, Retired Colonel K.C.D. Mohadi. Chairman of the ruling party, ZANU-PF, and Minister of Defense and War Veteran Affairs, Comrade Opam Chingori Kashiri. Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Advocate J.F. Mudenda. President of the Senate, Honorable Amai Chimamona. The Chief Justice of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Honorable Justice Luke Malawa. Honorable Ministers who are present, the Minister of State for Harare Metropolitan Province, Honorable Oliver Chidao. Leader of the Opposition in Parliament, Honorable Douglas Monzora. Members of Parliament, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the service chiefs, led by the Commander of Defense Forces, General Spanda, all veterans of the liberation struggle, families of the heroes of our liberation struggle, madzimambo edu vakatungamirwa namambo Charumira namutevedzeri wavo, Kumalo, Chief Kumalo. My fellow Zimbabweans, we are holding this year's celebrations with jubilation as our nation continues to register successes on main fronts. In line with the spirit of devolution, you will recall that we hoped to celebrate this year's event in Bulawayo, the seat of kings and queens, following the postponement of the public celebrations last year. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 public health requires entail that we must enjoy this very important national event yet again from our homes. When it comes to human life, we take no risks. The time shall come for us to physically gather and celebrate together in Bulawayo province once the COVID-19 pandemic is behind us. The pandemic has sadly seen our nation lose many of our beloved citizens, including decorated heroes and heroines of the liberation struggle. Lessons continue to be learned from this global health emergency, and our country is emerging stronger in the fight against this pandemic. Zimbabwe is grateful for the financial and material support and solidarity from friendly nations and development partners in our efforts to mitigate the impact of the pandemic. I also commend the local private sector, the individuals in our country, institutions of higher learning, churches, and other stakeholders for their support. The dedication and sacrifice of frontline workers and security services is equally applauded. I congratulate you, our citizens, for abiding by the national lockdown regulations and measures. The accomplishments we have made to date are due to the unity of purpose and spirit of oneness we have all shown. On 18 February 2021, government launched the National Vaccination Program to contain the spread of the deadly virus and ensure herd immunity. Allow me to take this opportunity to thank various partners and the friends of Zimbabwe, including the People's Republic of China, the Russian Federation, and the Republic of India for their support to our vaccination program. Citizens are assured that the efficacy of the vaccines we have rolled out has been duly considered and approved by the Medicines Control Authority of Zimbabwe. I therefore call upon the people of our great country, Zimbabwe, to go out in their numbers and get vaccinated. No one is safe until everyone is safe. My dear fellow Zimbabweans, as the Second Republic, we will never betray that which made the many sons and daughters of our motherland to wage the protracted armed liberation struggle, paying the supreme sacrifice. We will always protect the significance and sacred spirituality of our land. Therefore, signing of the Global Compensation Agreement on the 29th July 2020 is a reaffirmation of the irreversibility of land, as well as a symbol of our commitment to constitutionalism, the respect of the rule of law and the property rights. As Zimbabweans, we must now all work together for increased production, productivity, and profitability of the agriculture sector. Following successive seasons of drought, it is encouraging that the 2020-2021 summer cropping season was characterized by normal to above normal rainfall. The swift implementation of the Presidential Climate-Approved Fumvudza Itwasa program, the Presidential Input Support Scheme, Command Agriculture, Presidential Horticulture Program, and respective initiatives by farmers have yielded commendable results. These interventions, coupled with timely provision of extension services, will see the country attain a bumper harvest this season. Treasury has set aside Zimbabwe's 60 billion for the timely payment of farmers by the Grain Marketing Board. The usual grain collection depots will be complemented by mobile and fixed collection points throughout the country. Pertaining to livestock, the Presidential Climate-Approved Livestock Scheme will see the increase of the national herd through an intensified artificial insemination program, distribution of tick grease, and the widespread renovation of dip tanks across the country. Government continues to facilitate agricultural mechanization for our farmers at affordable costs towards the success of our agricultural revolution, improving production, productivity, and profitability in that sector. As a result of the good rains, there has been significant improvement of water levels in dams across the country. This gives impetus for the implementation of the National Accelerated Irrigation Rehabilitation and Development Program, as well as the Smallholder Irrigation Rehabilitation Program. To this end, we are speeding up the rate of completion of dams, with Marobanyati and the Causeway dams having so far been completed. While Shangani Dam will be completed by year end this year. My fellow Zimbabweans, despite altered economic growth projections due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the reform agenda under the Transitional Stabilization Program realized indisputable successes. The successor program, the National Development Strategy 1, is now underway. The translation of the NDS 1 into 16 languages will enhance national vision, sharing and robust implementation of the National Development Strategy 1. My government continues to realize budget surpluses. Inflation, which had become a major source of macroeconomic instability, is being contained. The foreign currency auction system has also enhanced transparency and accountability in the distribution and the use of foreign currency in our economy. I call upon Zimbabweans to exercise prudence and discipline towards the attainment of broader financial and economic stability in our country. The manufacturing sector has remained resilient to the pertinent shocks presented by the imposition of illegal sanctions, natural disasters, and now the COVID-19 pandemic. Locally produced goods and commodities now constitute a larger share of our country's market shelves. In line with the government's private sector-led development, we applaud industry for its positive response to the local content strategy. This is reflective of the positive national sentiments on our economic growth potential anchored on the Second Republic's consistent and predictable policy environment. The resuscitation of strategic industries such as fertilizer, iron and steel, pharmaceuticals, textiles and clothing, leather manufacturing, as well as food and beverages, is being accelerated. In order for Zimbabwe to penetrate global value chains, efforts are underway to structurally transform the economy from an exporter of predominantly primary products to higher nodes of industrial development. These positive developments come at a time when the African Continental Free Trade Agreement has come into effect. It offers vast opportunities for the country to intensify its trade and exports drive. The introduction of the border efficiency management system will see reduced congestion and enhanced efficiencies at our ports of entry. In addition to the above, my government will continue to facilitate market access across all sectors, as well as increase the participation in our economy by the Zimbabwean in the diaspora. The mining industry is projected to rebound by 11% this year. Guided by the strategy to achieve US $12 billion mining industry by 2023, programs that include increased exploitation, expansion of existing mining projects, resuscitation of closed mines, opening of new mines, mineral beneficiation, and the value addition are being prioritized. Provinces and communities are urged to maintain a keen interest in these mining development projects to prop up provincial GDPs and create employment and improve the quality of life of our people in those communities. My fellow Zimbabweans, since 2020, the energy and the power sector has witnessed relative stability in the supply of electricity and liquid petroleum products. Our quest to realize energy sufficiency is therefore on course. At the Wange Power Station, the expansion project of Unit 7 and Unit 8, which is set to add 600 megawatts to the national grid, is now at 61% completion. Meanwhile, a 280 megawatt capacity will be restored into the national grid when the overhaul of Unit 3 and refurbishment of Unit 6 are completed. Following the approval of the US $310 million facility from India Exim Bank, work to extend the lifespan of the power station is expected to commence in earnest. With regards to the hydropower generation, the significant water inflows into Lake Kariba are set to guarantee adequate power availability from the Kariba power station. Informed by the renewable energy policy and the biofuels policy, my government is promoting private sector investments in the sector. To this end, an independent power producer, Zimbabwe Zhongjin Electrical Energy, is working on a 50 megawatt thermal power plant in Wange, which is now 97% complete. In addition, 11 renewable energy projects have been commissioned and are feeding power into the national grid, with 8 others generating power for own consumption. The construction of a 6 million liter ethanol storage facility and a 500 metric ton LPG depot in Mavuku is underway. Our country is encouraged and optimistic about the immense possibilities as a result of oil and gas exploration in Zarabani. This project will broaden the country's energy mix, energy matrix, and have far-reaching benefits to the economy as a whole. My dear citizens, the COVID-19 pandemic has had a dire effect on the country's tourism sector. However, the ongoing national vaccination program offers hope for its revival. Incentives are being offered to increase domestic tourism under the Tourism Zimbabwe campaign, including the provision of a government guarantee to improve access to finance for further development of the sector. New tourism resorts and a wider array of tourism projects are being rolled out in line with the provincial comparative advantages and endowments. The protection of the environment remains a key policy thrust of the Second Republic. The preservation of wetlands, zero tolerance to litter, curtailment of pollution, and a sound legislation to stop the decimation of forests remain critical. Zimbabwe has managed to grow its wildlife population. However, government is concerned about the increasing number of cases of human-wildlife conflict. Consultations are underway with the view of developing comprehensive policy on this matter. The quest by our country to trade wildlife resources for the benefit of communities is ongoing. Sound national infrastructures are essential building blocks for sustainable economic development and growth. With the bolts and bars, brick upon brick, and stone upon stone, we are rebuilding our great country, Zimbabwe. We are harnessing and effectively developing our local resources and human capital to upgrade and modernize the country's infrastructure. The heavy rains received across the country have taken their toll on our roads, our bridges, and other infrastructure. In response, government has launched phase 2 of the Emergency Road Rehabilitation Program for the urgent rehabilitation of roads throughout all provinces. The upgrading and expansion of the Harare-Batu Bridge Highway, as well as rehabilitation, improvement and widening of sections of the Chirundu Highway are progressing well. Government is continually replenishing the Zupco fleet towards the resuscitation of the public sector transport sector. As we move towards Vision 2030, air connectivity is equally important. Hence, the rehabilitation, refurbishment, and expansion of airstrips such as Binga in Machineland North and Chapoto in National and Central Provinces, among others, are ongoing. Information communication technology, ICTs, are an integral part in our country's drive to become a knowledge-based economy, and indeed in the fourth industrial revolution. The COVID-19 pandemic has precipitated the need for our country to urgently enhance its competencies and capabilities in this sector. All sectors are therefore urged to leverage on the recently launched National Data Center to further spur innovations that increase operational efficiencies and improve service delivery. My dear fellow Zimbabweans, the provision of health, water and sanitation, education and public transport, among others, remain at the core of our country's social development policies. Accordingly, my government's health sector reforms have resulted in improved regulation, accountability, transparency, and the work ethic within that sector. Devolution funds have enabled the construction of suitable primary and secondary health care and education facilities throughout the country. Work is underway towards establishment of specialist medical facilities, including in the prime tourist resorts. Under the Second Republic, a relevant education system remains key to sustainable socio-economic development and the achievement of Vision 2030. Informed by heritage-based philosophy, unique country needs and the realities, as well as the broader global perspectives, the study of science-related fields is being encouraged. To date, innovation hubs and industrial parks within our tertiary and higher institutions of learning are producing goods and services with far-reaching national and economic implications. Programs to cushion vulnerable members of society, certain sectors of the economy, and the food insecure households in both rural and urban areas continue to be availed. Furthermore, disability mainstreaming must be pursued across all sectors, as informed by the National Disability Policy. This includes seeking greater inclusion and empowerment of persons living with disabilities and the realization of their improved quality of life. The licensing of 6 privately owned television stations and the 6 language-based community radio stations is a demonstration of my government's commitment to uphold constitutionally guaranteed right to freedom of expression and the freedom of the media. It is my expectation, however, that these new players will project the much needed diversity and the plurality in the broadcasting sector. I further urge the new entrants to always advance national identity, national patriotism, national peace, national unity, production and productivity towards the prosperity of our great country, Zimbabwe. Our devolution and decentralization agenda is gaining traction and changing the landscape of many districts of our country. It is pleasing to note that devolution funds in excess of Zimbabwe 1 billion have been disbursed to local authorities during this first quarter. for various community projects which cascade down to the world level. Women, youth, and SMEs have a pivotal role in society and are emerging as important players in sectors such as agriculture and mining. Their empowerment and financial inclusion remains a priority by the Second Republic. However, government notes with concern the spike in gender-based violence, child abuse, and other heinous social crimes. Perpetrators have no place in our society and must be duly and timely punished by our judicial system. Citizens across provinces and districts are urged to take advantage of the decentralized court system to access justice delivery within their communities. Regarding youth development and empowerment, government successfully reviewed the National Youth Policy and has reintroduced National Youth Training Program. These provide a broad framework for the empowerment of youth in a comprehensive, coordinated, and multi-sectoral manner. The new focus will see the nurturing of young people who are technically skilled and knowledgeable, patriotic, honest, hard-working. It is envisaged that the focused program will inculcate a sense of national identity and the spirit of volunteerism among the youth for the good of our great country. I would like to commend the First Lady, Emmerson Mnangagwa, and the Angel of Hope Foundation for implementing various humanitarian programs and projects across the country towards nurturing respect, discipline, and a better appreciation of our culture and heritage among the youth. Their work with regards to tourism and health advocacy is equally appreciated. Sports, arts and culture, and other recreational activities continue towards improved livelihoods, well-being, health, education, inclusion, peace, and national cohesion. The country celebrates the notable milestones registered in the sporting fraternity, including repairs to the National Sports Stadium, Baba Fields and Sakuba Stadium, qualification by the national soccer team, the Warriors, to the 2022 African Cup of Nations, and the winning of the African Boxing Union title, among others, is commendable. Stakeholders in the sporting sector are challenged to pursue innovative and robust methods of financing and development of the various sporting disciplines. My fellow Zimbabweans, commemoration of our National Independence Day is, in essence, a celebration of the victory attained in the liberation armed struggle fought by our current sons and daughters of this soil. The importance of protecting the gains of this hard-won independence can therefore not be overemphasized. It therefore comes as a befitting honor to construct the iconic statue of Mnangagwa in Harare. The monument will be a permanent reminder and a towering statement of motivation for future generations on the importance of serving your country wholeheartedly and defending it with unflinching patriotism and loyalty. In the same tone, the Liberation War Museum will be constructed. On the arts and recreation front, government is implementing the cultural and creative industries strategy in partnership with various stakeholders. At the continental level, Zimbabwe takes pride in having launched Africa Fact Book in September 2020, which is the first ever publication that tells the African story from an African perspective. The country is also honored to be the home of the Museum of African Liberation on the continent. My dear fellow Zimbabweans, government has introduced performance contracts for heads of ministries to ensure accountability, transparency, and the speedy attainment of targets set in the National Development Strategy 1. Performance contracts will also be rolled out to state enterprises, parastatals, and local authorities. Meanwhile, government remains committed to improving the working conditions of its valued workers in the public sector. In line with Section 212 of the Constitution, the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, together with other members of the security sector, is commended for their vigilance and unwavering commitment to the protection of our national sovereignty, security, interests, and territorial integrity. Under the National Development Strategy 1, our foreign policy remains deeply rooted and informed by our national interests, and the engagement and re-engagement, as well as the Pan-African ethos. My government is pursuing economic diplomacy for the advancement and economic prosperity of our country. Our arms remain outstretched to be a friend to all and an enemy of none, as we strive towards the realization of a more peaceful, united, and prosperous world. My dear fellow citizens, as we commemorate these 41st independence celebrations, let us look back at the previous years with great pride and joy. More importantly, however, let us look forward to the years ahead with a bright flame of hope for the next generation. We have begun this new decade of our independence with great determination, resolve, and confidence to achieve the vision we set out for ourselves to achieve. A vision of an empowered people with a higher standard of living. A vision of thriving and a prosperous economy, which plays its part within the Committee of Nations. Together, let us unite in our peoples, collate our potential, and work together hand in hand towards our common destiny. Through hard, honest work and our trust in God Almighty, there is no limit to what our country can achieve as we build Zimbabwe we all want, brick upon brick, stone upon stone. I once again congratulate all Zimbabweans at home and abroad on the occasion of this, our country's 41st independence celebrations. Congratulations, Zimbabwe. Makorokoto, Zimbabwe. Hamshope, Zimbabwe. Long live our independence, long live our unity, our peace, and our freedom. Long live Zimbabwe. God bless you all. God bless Zimbabwe. I thank you.